their Republican colleagues in wanting to strip Governor Cuomo of his pandemic emergency powers. This comes after the Cuomo administration ordered nursing homes to cut the death toll for months. Our next guest wrote an op-ed on this topic titled "Governor Andrew Cuomo Has Wielded Dictatorial Powers for Long Enough." Joining us to discuss, former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCaughey. Betsy, always a pleasure seeing you. Tell me what you would like to see done, because I think in your article you point out it's not like California where they can recall the governor. Apparently that doesn't exist in New York, correct?
That's right. New Yorkers don't have the power of recall, and they really don't have the power to impeach and remove Cuomo from office, because under the New York State Constitution, that would require a 2/3 vote of the Senate plus the top judges in the state. And New York is virtually a one-party state. It's almost all Democrats. So that's not a possibility either. But Democrats in the legislature are moving ahead with Republicans to strip Cuomo of his emergency powers. And this is important for two reasons. It will definitely rein in this out-of-control governor, but it will also be a reprimand and damage him for future electability. He's up for a fourth term as governor in a little under 2 years. And he was expected to win again, but certainly not when all this corruption is coming to light. And let me just add this. The nursing home scandal has finally gotten public attention, but the Cuomo administration has been mired in corruption for years. In fact, Cuomo's top aide, Joseph Percoco, is now in prison doing time, having been convicted of corrupt acts. So it's not new to people who know Albany that Cuomo is a lying dealer and bully. But finally, because of the tragedy of these deaths, the public is paying attention. A lot more scandal is going to come out soon.
Yeah, Betsy, his emergency powers were set to be up by, I think, the end of April. What about other states? I noticed in your article you were talking about other states in terms of governors and their emergency powers and the message that they can take from what's happening in New York.
Oh, yes. Well, it's actually hard to believe that all across the country, state lawmakers invested their governors with, quote, emergency powers that lasted not a week or maybe a month at the outset, but in fact, it's gone on for 11 months already. The power to shut down businesses, to close schools, to impose curfews. It doesn't make any sense that one person would make better decisions in a crisis than a group of people, a legislature. Otherwise, we'd have autocracies, dictatorships, despotisms all the time. We know that representative government is better. So these governors should not have these dictatorial powers, and at least 15 states are acting right now to reduce or remove the governor's dictatorial powers.
And about Cuomo himself, he also is alleged to have made a threatening phone call to an assemblyman recently, which, by the way, is related to that whole nursing home scandal, if you will. And so that people outside New York know, apparently some of these people, there was a higher number of people who died related to nursing homes than was actually reported. So the overall death toll may not be different, but how they...
He ordered the nursing homes take in
right.
patients from hospitals who had been treated for COVID, and he forbade the hospitals from testing to see whether they still had it. So they were flying blind, and the virus spread like wildfire inside these nursing homes, killing almost 15,000 people. And then Cuomo and his health department manipulated the numbers and lied about it. Month after month after month, they lied and denied that they were responsible for these deaths, when in fact the numbers show that they were.
Yeah, a difference of about 50%, and they lied for at least 5 months. In terms of, and this is just a side note, when I was reading your article, I had completely forgotten about Eliot Spitzer. They were preparing articles of impeachment against him, and you gave us a little history lesson there that the last 100 years ago.
That's right. Impeachment is unlikely, although certainly what happened under the Cuomo administration is a far more serious issue than dallying with prostitutes. I mean, thousands of people lost their loved ones, and then he lied right to their faces about it month after month and concealed the numbers, concealed them from the legislature, concealed them from the Justice Department.
Yeah. So what would you like to see happen, Betsy?
Well, I'd certainly like to see Cuomo stripped of his emergency powers. That will be a very serious slap on the wrist that this governor deserves to be reprimanded and does not deserve to be reelected. As I said earlier, this administration has been surrounded with corruption year after year, but people didn't pay attention because it didn't involve deaths. Now they're losing not only their tax dollars, they're losing their families and friends.
Betsy, are you going to run? Would you consider running?
Now, I haven't announced running for any office, but I want to tell you, this is a very, very serious problem, and Andrew Cuomo does not deserve to be the leader of New York State.
All right. Betsy McCaughey, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you with us.